welcome back. It's been a little while, and so today I'm going to talk to you about a concept I used from Tony Robbins just recently that allowed me to do something I had really struggled very hard with. So the concept is, I'm just going to get right into it, straight in, is he says over and over again that you don't get your shoulds, you get your musts. I mean, many of us can think back to any point in our life, something happened, maybe hit rock bottom, maybe you're going through something really hard and you absolutely had to do something, or the consequences were just so severe that it was not even an option not to do it. And I know from my personal experience, I've been able to accomplish unbelievable things. Then I look back and be like, wow, how the hell did I do that? And then I go back to sleep again, basically. As soon as those moments of trouble and strife are over, I basically become like Superman and get all these things done by any means necessary because it's so important. And then afterwards, it's like I get relaxed and complacent and I don't think too much about, continuing on with such a mad dog perseverance as I had in those moments. How many of you have ever experienced those moments? I bet most of you have. Something somewhere at one time or another, you had to accomplish something. You had to make something happen. You had to do something maybe you didn't really want to do, but because of your reasons, it was an absolute requirement. It wasn't like, oh, I should do that or I better do that. No, it's like I have to do that. I must do that. Not I should do that. And so I've, as you can easily tell, and I don't even make any attempts to hide it, is that I am quite a bit overweight. That's a byproduct of the past 13 years of some not so pleasant experiences. And I'm not going to blame the experiences for it. It was my own inadequacy of dealing with the stuff. But anyway, it's what it is at this moment. So I've there's all sorts of things out there, and you've probably tried some of them. You've definitely heard about some of them, such as keto. They're raving about like how you can lose a massive amounts of weight on keto. Well, I tried keto before, and let me tell you something. Sugar withdrawal is a bitch. I mean, it is really bad. The headaches, the dizziness, it is really rough. Um, I've heard studies that have been conducted that link sugar withdrawal similar to how cocaine, is processed by the brain. So sugar is quite literally a drug. And boy, we love sugar. Hell, sugar's in quite almost everything you can put your hands on nowadays. Added sugars everywhere. So, if you've ever looked into keto, you cannot have sugar. Just plain simple. You're restricted on your carbs to a very, very low amount, forcing your body to go into a state called ketosis where it becomes a fat burning machine. And the only way you can do that is by upping your fats a lot, keeping proteins moderate, and dropping carbs damn near nothing. So, um, sugar, I mean, wow. I couldn't even say how much sugar I'd been consuming over the last 13, 14 years. It's got to be truckloads. I mean, easily. Any given day is probably like a half a cup of sugar on anything, really. Whether it was because of sugar in my coffee, or it was the bread, or it was, anything really. Milk even has sugar in it. It's pretty crazy. So, I've tried it before, and the headaches and the dizziness were just too much. I mean, I couldn't last a day. I mean, the you go through withdrawal for a little while when you start out until your body changes. So, on my way back, I recently took a trip to Reno, and I've done a lot of work on my head, and I've talked about that before. So my outward appearance does not match my inward appearance. So you have an idea about myself, a self-image that does not match up to the physical um, person that's in front of you. It just doesn't. So on the way back, and I've struggled with dieting and stuff like that, but changing the habits that got me to where I am is not an easy thing to do. So I was on the way back, and I was listening to some stuff, and I was listening to something from Tony Robbins. I mean, it's a 14-hour drive back. So, and he was talking about how you get what your musts, not your shoulds. So this is what I did, and you can use it too for pretty much anything. is I kept telling myself over and over again on the ride back, I must do this. I must. No options. Must. Not should. Must. I did it over and over and over and over and over again. And I really channeled in those emotions. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I must do this. No, it was like, I must do this. I must do this. Must do this. You know, really drive the point home to myself. And so, well, when I got back, I started doing keto again. Keto, and guess what happened? Same thing that happened last time. Here comes sugar withdrawal, and oh my god, it was rough. I'm feeling better now, but first few days is rough. You know, when you're in those states of withdrawing, yeah, I'm sure you've heard funny stories about it. For me, I was like, I was laying there checking the app, like, okay, you know, trying to find some way, because I'm like jonesing, like completely, you know, it's like scratching the neck, tapping the arm, you know, I'm losing it, but I kept telling you know, this time it felt different. This time I could feel the difference from last time. This time it wasn't an option to fail. Last time it was just, you know, I should do this. I'm going to try this. I'd already set myself up for failure on that one. This time, though, it was must. I must do this. I must go through this. I have to. Failure is not an option. I'm going to do this. And I kept telling myself in the worst moments, I must do this. I've told myself I must do it. I meant what I said. So when an apple looked as delicious as chocolate fudge cake, believe me, when you're jonesing, you'll go for anything. It quite literally is a drug. Um, and I couldn't have nothing. Not even an apple. You can't have an apple on keto because an apple has too many carbs. Yeah, crazy, isn't it? But um, 2 days, I mean, it was spinning head, nausea, um, you know, cold sweats, hot flashes. I mean, it was pretty bad. But I kept doing it over and over again. I just said, saying, you know, I must do this. I have to do this. And 2 days into it, it started letting up. You see, the reason for that is your body can only store 2 days worth of glycogen, which is carbs, which is sugar. That's your preferred fuel source for your body. Ketones are not your preferred fuel source. They're what gets stored, obviously stored. These are like, you know, probably hundreds of billions of ketones right there. But your body doesn't want those. Those are like, you know, secondary concerns. They want glycogen, which is carbs, sugar. And so it's literally going through your body trying to find all the glycogen it can to consume it because that's what it wants. When it runs out, it will do whatever it takes to survive. And of course, it's already built in systems to switch to ketosis, which, you know, that's just what it does. But in between that, when it's running out, it sends you signals saying, "Give me what I want." And when you don't, well, the signals get stronger and stronger, and you start jonesing, especially if you're heavily adapted to sugars like I am. Was We'll see how that goes as far as, you know, I'm sure it'll get like less, but see, I used a concept. You get your musts, not your shoulds. So if you ever go in there and you say, I should lose weight, I should do more at work, I should talk to that girl, I should talk to that man, I should, you know, whatever, it ain't gonna happen. Let's get real. It didn't work for me. I know many people that it doesn't work for. And if the leading personal development person in the world says it, you know, there must be some weight behind it. And he said the same thing. I think he said like he's coached like 30 to 40 million people, and by and large, you never get your shoulds. You always get your musts. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And I was like, I must do this. And that's what you have to do. If you really want to do something, if you really want to get it done, then you have to go in there and you have to keep telling yourself, I must do this. I must do this. No matter how hard it is, if you drive the point home, it will give you results. As it did for me. I failed a couple times before. This time I blasted through it. Maybe I didn't feel so great in the process, but it was a totally different shift as far as how I felt about getting through it. I felt confident that I'm going to get through it because I have to, not should. Maybe try it until it's uncomfortable. You know, it was an absolute must, a necessity. And when things are a necessity, you'll do whatever the hell it takes to get what you're after. You know, you're going to do whatever it takes. And when you're willing to do whatever it takes, all sorts of options open up that you really may not even considered before. So that's how you can use this concept to literally do whatever the hell it is you want to do. If you want to go to the gym and lose weight, if you want to start a new diet, if you want to talk to people, if you want to whatever, make it a must, not a should. Just like Tony Robbins says, a must. And just like I said, that's how I did it over and over and over again. I must do this. I must do this. I must do this. And you can do it too. And you'll thank yourself for doing it, because it's so much better to have results rather than regret. So until next time, I hope some of you take this to heart and use it, and maybe just store it in the back of your mind if you're not ready to do that. Anyway, until next time, I'll talk to you later.